So generally speaking, these days I make breakfast for myself every single morning. Scrambled eggs, usually with turkey sausage, some peppers, some fruits, coffee. And when I'm done with breakfast this particular morning, I'm gonna come over here and cut out some windows and a door and another window here for the bodega, another door here for the upstairs apartment. So I'm gonna go eat breakfast first, then I'm gonna come back and kind of slice the doors and the windows, because one of the comments I get the most is, how do I do my lines so clean? How do they look so clean, so perfect? I guess it's never perfect, but it's 12 years of cutting. But I will do it and record it so you guys kind of get an idea of how I measure it, how I cut it, and how they look so clean when I'm done with them. So generally speaking, whenever I cut out windows or doors, the first thing you have to do is measure. I can't believe I said generally speaking. You always have to measure. But what I was gonna say, generally speaking, is that the windows from the floor to the bottom of the window is usually 3 inches. So what I usually start off doing is what I always start doing. I need to stop saying usually. Is just marking off the 3-inch mark, or the 3-inch measurement here. And then the window, it could be as big as you want it to be. I think in this case, I have an action figure here, and usually I'll do this. I'll kind of measure it. And in this case, I'm going to go with a 5-inch window. So from that mark that I just made, go up to the 5 inches, or to the 5-inch mark, and measure that, mark it off. Now what I do, so this is a piece that was cut by me, and this is the factory piece. So I usually try to measure from the factory piece. Now the door is going to be here, so I probably want the window to be kind of maybe a 1/2 inch away from where the brick starts and the door will be. So I'll kind of make another mark there at a 1/2 inch there. And then I have to be careful behind the magnets are here. So there's an inch that I don't want to cut where the magnets are going to be. I made that mistake here, as you can see. It'll be covered because it's a window. Excuse me, it's a window, but I try to stay away from doing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it probably maybe 9.5. Yeah, I feel good with 9.5 inches from that last mark that I just made. And then we are ready to start slicing this up. The 3 tools that I use to cut out these windows and these doors are these right here. These are the 3 tools that I use for windows and doors. And so what I'll do first is I'll start off with this, with the X-Acto blade, and just line up the ruler where I made my measurement marks. And I just imagine it there. Some people will like kind of fill out the whole thing in marker. I've been doing it so long that I don't really need to do that. I feel pretty comfortable in the experience I've gone. Sometimes I'll overcut a little bit, but a lot of times you can just correct that easily. So generally speaking, I just get in there, do that first initial slice, get a little deeper, and that's gonna set it up for this blade. So I'm gonna do this all the way around and come back and show you guys how I cut out the window. So as you can see, by using this tool, the X-Acto blade, I've already kind of pre-cut. And the reason this is very helpful for me is because it's not long enough to kind of go all the way through, but it's just enough to guide my next tool, which is this guy here. So because I already kind of started that, I can just kind of slide right into it and slowly get through to the other side. Once I do that, that pre-cut is lining me up perfectly, so I'm staying within the line. And I always make sure that I come up and do the other side to the very end. And you can feel the resistance, you can tell when it's been cut. So I get right up to there, and as you can see, it comes clean through. A lot of times it'll punch out and look like this, but that's not a big deal. It's in the back of it. If it was a situation where it needed to be clean on both sides, what I'll do with this tool is I'll kind of pop the blade out a little more, and I'll use this tool for most of the cuts. And so I'm just gonna do all 4, and then I'll be right back to show you guys what that looks like. So I've already cut through on this side, on this side, on this side. I'm gonna do this one here. And generally what I try to do is kind of slice into it and then slowly just kind of until I puncture the back. Then come to this side. And it should pop right out. And that's how I get the straightness of this. Now, the inside, because these blades kind of have the little bit of the ridge here, it's usually not going to be the cleanest cut. And depending on the project, I may need it to look smooth. Or I can put another piece of foam here, a piece of balsa wood. I can do different techniques. In this particular case, this is going to be a bodega window, so it's going to be foggy and it's going to have a bunch of advertisements. So the inside doesn't really matter how jagged it looks on the inside. And that's generally just exactly how I just cut out a window. It also gives me an additional piece of foam. I usually keep these and I end up doing something with them at some point. I never throw away these bigger pieces. And that's how I go about it. I'm pretty sure everybody has a different way. I wish there was a way where I could just have like a lightsaber prox on and be like, and just go along the ruler, but unfortunately there isn't any other way that I know of that I can do it as clean as this comes out. And then at this point, once I start kind of working on this window, you frame it up. So in this case, I'm going to frame it up on the inside. So the glass is going to be recessed a little bit on the inside. So there will be a little bit of an edge. But because I used this X-Acto blade, it allows that to be smooth. So even if my balsa wood or my basswood starts here, I still have a nice clean cut versus kind of how that looks. As you can see, it's a little jagged. All right, folks. So that's basically how I do this. And I think by the time I'm on to the next video, I'll probably have started painting this, and I'll come back and show you guys some of the techniques that I use to paint. I've had this channel for 12 years now, so I completely understand that there's new people that don't go back to the videos, which I completely understand. That's a lot of videos. It's 260 some odd videos. I think yesterday was 261. This should be 262. That's a lot of videos. I have some tutorials, so it's impossible to imagine someone's going to go back. So I'll always kind of refresh those techniques that I use, or refresh it in terms of doing it again. And some people may already know about it, some people may not, but it's something I have to do for every project, so I will record some of that progress. So yeah, next time you guys will see it, it should be mostly painted or start. Alright, so I am done with cutting the windows. See, this is one of the mistakes I did earlier. I overcut a little bit. So see, I messed up sometimes, but just cover that up real quick. I don't think it's going to matter at the end because I'm going to kind of texture all that. But now that I'm done cutting this, I want to start off by showing you guys some of the collection in the new place. So first I want to show you guys is how I am displaying my G.I. Joe action figures that are still in the box. So when I lived at my last place, again, I had my own room. I had rented a room, so I couldn't really display or put anything outside of it. So all these were on the wall where you can kind of see the front of them. So when I got here, I didn't want to overpopulate my walls. I didn't want it to be cluttered. So I thought this was a perfect space to put these, and they fit perfectly. So I have all these are boxed up and have never been opened. I might have opened 1 or 2 of them, but most of them are, or 99.9% are all boxed up. Here's a gift I got for Christmas from one of my friend's moms. I love Friends. I'm a Friends fan. And then up there, my favorite basketball player of all time, Dave Robinson, and Roberto Clemente, one of my favorite players of all time. He was Puerto Rican, first Puerto Rican to be a successful MLB player. Then when I got here, I wanted to buy a poster, but I didn't want to hang a poster in the house because, like, so I figured if I put it behind the door, it's behind the door. And I thought it was dope. It's all Real American Hero, G.I. Joe from the cartoons I grew up watching. And then for some of the figures I opened up, I wanted to keep the art. So I started hanging the art here. So this is, right now, G.I. Joe is kind of my main collection. And so I love Marvel Legends. in terms of the action figures, and I've been a Marvel fan since the mid 80s, but G.I. Joe's is where I started watching cartoons, and the action figures at the time were so amazing, very articulated, and Marvel didn't really have good action figures back in the mid 80s. So G.I. Joe has always kind of been my first love. So when they started doing the 6-inch figures, I was on it. And I don't want to say I have, because I know I don't have every single figure ever created, but I got the ones I like the most. And so this is where the G.I. Joe collection starts. And then over to my bedroom is kind of my G.I. Joe corner. So let me just turn on this light. And so what I wanted to do here is a combination. Again, I wanted to keep it clean, where I don't want it to be like super cluttered. So what I wanted to do here was display some, and also display the opened ones and also display some of the sealed ones. So here is all of my open G.I. Joes. This is kind of the Cobra shelf, and this is the good guy G.I. Joe shelf. And then here I have some of the ones that when they made these retro carded ones, they made them so that they look closer to the ones in the mid 80s from the A Real American Hero line and the cartoons, versus these stayed pretty true to that, but had a couple modern twists. I have gotten 2 of the Hasbro Pulse vehicles. The Hiss was the first one. I also ended up getting the oh my God, I forgot the name of the helicopter. I sold it to my boy. He really wanted it. I didn't care too much for it. So, was it a helicopter? Anyway, I'm happy with this, and I didn't get the newest one, which I think was a Rattler. So, have that. Have a couple of vehicles, a couple Jeeps, and some other stuff kind of here. Actually bought this recently, and I love it because it's almost like Destro playing with action figures almost, but almost as like chess pieces or what have you. So I definitely like that. And I have these, they're not Lego, but I guess they're compatible with Lego. Some of the mini ones here for mini mates, and even more miniature ones, and then the Super 7 that aren't really articulated, but they kind of look cool. So I'll get some of those once in a while. So this is kind of my G.I. Joe corner. And the bottom shelves are Marvel, and I'll get to that when I get to the Marvel portion of the collection. But just wanted to kind of show you guys that. This is actually some sunglasses. This is a collab with Knockaround. And the sunglasses weren't great, but I love how they came in this little sleeve thing here, which is dope. And I actually just got this, which is pretty cool. Paid maybe $5 for it. Yeah, $5 for it. And it's a business card holder, and it has a little contraption where you just push it up and it pushes the business card. I've got it. It was like in a bargain bin in a comic book shop that I go to. So yeah, this is the first, and I'll be showing you guys the rest in future videos. And I am out of here. Peace.